Hey friends, thanks for stopping by. It's nearly time for one more New Year's celebration. So today I decided to look back at the numbers on which episodes you most enjoyed, and I pulled out the key takeaways that, well, if implemented, might help you the most as you think about 2026. So this episode is kind of like the takeaway of takeaways to inspire and encourage you for the plans that you'll make for the next year. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the Sunshine Café. I'm Lisa Roers, your host. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here to pour some positive back into your day with practical tips and stories to encourage and inspire. So let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Sunshine Café. I'm Lisa Roers, your host. And for those who know me, you know I love to plan. I love the anticipation of the plans almost as much as the execution of the plan. And yet, I have a few friends that kind of made some quotes about planning. Mark Twain perhaps once said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. There's also a great scripture, Proverbs 16:9 says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. And even Dwight D. Eisenhower weighed in on this topic when he said, plans are worthless, but planning is everything. So today, I decided the best way that I can help you plan and launch your 2026 with hope and encouragement and maybe a little inspiration is to look back over the last year of episodes and pull some key themes or takeaways from all of the episodes we've done. So kind of the takeaway of all takeaways. And perhaps these 4 themes I'm going to give you today will offer you some guidance and some encouragement as you look ahead to the exciting things that you're looking forward to in the next 365 days. You know, as I was preparing for this episode, I noticed that these 4 themes that I kept on seeing from the past 12 months were not independently exclusive. In fact, they build on each other like beautiful building blocks. And perhaps one of the most foundational themes, which kept repeating itself over and over again, despite whatever the topic of the episode was just how important faith is as a key foundation. So we're going to start this episode by talking about our first takeaway, which starts with God. You know, if 2026 is going to be a successful year in any consistent or lasting sort of way, I think it's going to be because our plans are aligned with God's plan for our life. And if we surrender to Him and let Him guide us, well, we can be certain to be successful. There is a lot more going on in this world than just the to-do lists we create or the problems we endure. Leaning into our faith allows us to understand our purpose and how we fit into this bigger picture of life itself, to understand our role and our talents and our gifting and how to create or cultivate a life we love. With faith as our foundation, we can set proper priorities. So the unstoppable you is rooted in our unstoppable God. Nothing and no one can change a heart and align our hearts better to the God-given talents and purpose better than God Himself. So, number 1, lean into your faith. Reintroduce yourself to that saving grace and the power of a really personal and intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And I promise your 2026 is sure to include long-lasting peace and prosperity. Now, there are a few episodes that we covered specifically that might be interesting for you to dive into and hear a little bit more about, if you haven't heard them already. Irene Solo shared with us about how to become unstoppable through faith in episode 103. And the powerful outcomes of faith-based service was covered in a couple of episodes we did focused on Samaritan's Purse, which was episode 101 and 102. And then my sweet friend Jeannie Marie came over and had a beautiful conversation about faith, both across the street and around the world. And that episode was episode 65. I think you will find all of those episodes just really valuable and helpful. The second takeaway of all takeaways that I want to share with you today is about being a good steward of our health. Because no success is enjoyed and no purpose is worth pursuing if you lose your health. Our body, my friends, is not the enemy. It's so very often crying out in its own little unique language to tell us what it needs. And we just have to learn how to listen. It's almost like learning a new language. You know, some key things to remember about our health and healing is that healing is layered and it takes time. Unfortunately, we have cultivated a culture of impatience. Good health, though, is not quick, And it's not easy. It's not attained with just a quick pill or a membership at a gym alone anyway. And it cannot be ordered up and delivered via Amazon Prime tomorrow. Healing is layered. Our bodies want consistency. Our bodies adapt to the things that we do for it, both good and bad. So this means, yes, the weight comes off slowly, but it also means that we get sick slowly. Cancer establishes itself over years of enduring poor choices and poisoning from all the things we have in our environment and the things we put into our bodies. Chronic illnesses happen after hundreds of poor choices. Our bodies are resilient. We are resilient to get sick. We are also sometimes resilient to heal. In short, these bodies take time to change. So just start making small, little choices that'll help your body move toward better nutrition, toward more flexibility and more movement, less stress, and more peace. The pain you feel is actually your body telling you it needs some attention. Your job, your challenge, is to find the root cause of what that pain is telling you. The sleepless nights are also telling you something. Maybe you're having caffeine too late, or maybe you're not moving enough during the day. Start learning to listen and partner with your body to make health a priority in 2026. And if you do that, you will have the energy, the drive, the libido, the motivation, and the focus that you want and you need to make the impact that you desire to make for 2026. Health is such an important part of my passion, and it's one of the reasons I cover health topics quite often here on this podcast. So there were a lot of powerful and popular episodes on healing this year, in case you'd like to dive in and learn a little bit more. Chris Kenobi, dear friend of mine, shared with us about the dangers that he's uncovered about seed oils. That's episode 90. Deborah Cobb helped us understand how to rewire anxiety in episode 98. Dr. Vicky Casper talked to us about the importance of sleep and how to get better sleep in episode 91. And my good friend, Dr. Tara Carr, explained how the health of our teeth and what's going on in our mouths affects our entire body. I also learned in episode 86 that prescriptions and too much medication can actually create depression. And I have two dear friends who helped us all understand how all the stuff and the clutter sitting around in our homes is actually causing more physical and mental illnesses than we realize. And that was in episode 84 and 85. And there are so many others. You can just peruse the titles and you'll see so many great topics on health to dive into. So think of it this way. Faith is the foundation of our soul and drives our physical choices because of how we think. But our health is what empowers us to have that drive and the energy and the motivation that we need to make it all happen. Without our health, we have nothing on this earth. No success, no material gift, no amount of money can replace the gift of health. So this one is critically important and has got to be part of your 2026 success. The third recurring theme from 2025 to use in our 2026 plans is simply the importance of relationships and intentionally building community around us. My friends, we were never meant to do life here alone. And I think our culture, perhaps even more so here in America, we truly like to celebrate the successes of individuals. You know, it's that business that was built by one amazing CEO or those individual achievements that were pursued so successfully. But I maintain that none of that happened without the support, the encouragement, and the help of the community around those people and the community that we intentionally build around us. To build that kind of community requires us to adopt, kind of a position of humility. Obviously, lots of love and kindness and a true servant's heart. Think about that for a moment. The best leaders are those who put their teams first. Why? Because those are the teams who want to follow that leader. A team who serves with passion is a lot more effective than a team that serves from a place of compulsion. The best parents I know are the ones who create structure and discipline in their family, but they also listen and they participate in each other's lives, and they do so with love and kindness, putting what is best for the kids ahead of their own desires for a time, because that is how we build great future generations. Notice I didn't say giving the kids everything they ask for. No, there is a balance and there is a season for things, but we have to put sometimes our kids ahead of our own selfish pursuits. Yes, even selfish pursuits do have a season, but to be the best parents that we can be means that sometimes we're going to have to put our desires second. Let's think of best friends. The best friends are the ones who choose to be there, to make time to listen and reach out and say, hey, how's it going? When we invest in others, when we choose to put others ahead of us for a time, we don't lose ourselves. It's actually part of the process that helps us become ourselves. And while we're doing that, we're building the community of support that we need when the seasons change and our personal needs do have to take first place for a while. It's a balance, my friends, but we have to invest in others to have the kind of fulfilling lives that we want and that we need. We invest in our husbands to help build them up and listen to them and support them. We take time to listen to our friends, understand their world and their needs and wants. And when friends are both doing this, when both spouses are doing this, then both people in that relationship get to level up and become the best version of themselves. Nothing good is as good as it could be unless you have someone you love to share it with. That could be a friend, a spouse, or a family member. And I will say nothing bad is as bad as it would be if you didn't have the love and support of the friends and family around you. If you go looking through the titles of the episodes we covered this year, you won't specifically find an episode on relationships, except for maybe two of them. Vicky Titi did cover some really profound truths when we were talking about marriage betrayal. That was episode 68. And Connie Durham talks about some beautiful truths about marriage communication, and that was in episode 24. But if you knew what I know about these amazing guests I have and the interviews that I've had with them, you would see that nothing they do has ever been done alone. Everything we do is made better when we share it with someone we love. And everything tragic or difficult is made possible to move through it by the people we have around us to support us and encourage us and lift us up on those days when life has us really down. So that's the third takeaway, to build up community around yourself. And the last takeaway of takeaways for today is about something I learned a lot about over this last year, and that is self-agency. You know, the end of 2025 brings the Sunshine Café to our second year of podcasting. I started this podcast to pour more positive into the world. And from looking over the data, it's obvious that you agree, and you both enjoy and want encouragement as well. Last year in December, at the end of our year, we had just over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And today, we're sitting at over 132,000 and growing. That number amazes and humbles me, and it gives me great joy to know that I can encourage you with these stories that inspire your day. But none of this would have happened without self-agency. My friends, you do not need anyone else to give you permission to start. So many times in our lives, we are waiting for someone to give us permission to take action. We're waiting for the assignment and, frankly, the due date along with it. Waiting for someone to tell us what to pursue and when the right time is and how to do it and, well, what next steps to make. Well, if you've wandered away, I want to invite you to come back to me because this is really important and I want you to hear this truth. Please fully embrace this truth. You, right here, right now, you have everything you need to pursue the desire that you have in your heart. You have self-agency. Self-agency means that you recognize that you have the ability, the responsibility, and the freedom to make choices and act on them. You no longer need to be just a reactor. You don't need to just sit and react to the circumstances, react to the people or the systems around you. What do you really want? Take some time, identify that, and then just start moving toward it. Self-agency makes you understand that you are not powerless. You might not control everything. There's always going to be things that are outside of your control, but you can choose how to respond to the things you do have control over, how to decide, and what you do to move forward. When you don't have self-agency, you tend to feel a little bit more like things are happening to you, that you can't do anything about it and someone else has to fix it. But if you stop to consider what you want to do, what things in life you'd like to pursue, and what goals you can do in the season that you're in or the time that you have, you'll realize that there are things there, right there in your heart, that you've been wanting to pursue for a long time, maybe. Sometimes identifying those things is a bit difficult, but I think if you sit, let yourself have a little space and quiet, there's almost always an inner sense of something, some dream or desire or goal that's there on your heart. I believe that prompting, that desire or goal that you have on your heart is from the Holy Spirit. Psalms 37:4 says, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Now, I don't think this verse is a promise of getting everything we want. That would be nice, but probably not realistic. I do think it means, though, that as we delight in the Lord, He shapes our desires to align with His will and then helps to fulfill those God-formed desires. He doesn't just give us what we want, and sometimes that's a really good thing. I've been very grateful He hasn't given me what I wanted because God knows what I need. And sometimes what I need is a lot different than what I want. God actually forms our desires, and those desires that are on your heart are the things that God has put there. And that, my friends, is the only permission you need. So for those plans and goals and pursuits that you might have for 2026, I have 5 quick tips for you. Number 1, take responsibility for your own words and actions or inactions. Own those things and take personal responsibility. Number 2, make choices that are intentional. Don't just react. Take a pause and intentionally choose. Similarly, number 3, say yes or no on purpose. Don't just say yes or no to please somebody else because you feel like you have to. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with them. If you need to, implement a pause. Ask for some time to think about it so you can answer with honesty and intention. Number 4, ask for help, but don't give up your ownership. We learn from others and we learn with others, but you can still be captain of the ship while having some help along the way. And number 5, take action, even when the outcome, and maybe especially when the outcome is not completely clear. Trust me, my friends, taking action will help make that next step that you need to take more and more clear with every action you take. So self-agency is a huge theme and an extremely important part of our New Year plan. I just really want to encourage you to take some time to ask yourself what it is that you'd like to pursue, and then go for it, one small step at a time, with permission to pivot anytime you decide that the goal should change. That's okay. We are changing creatures. We can change our goals as well. We covered so many episodes here this last year that are about self-agency. One just recently from Amy Chinian in episode 105, where she taught us about her business and how she got into that business. Amanda also helped us define what is enough after all in episode 104. Heather Udo talked about how she grew her business and is now conquering the internet on episode 82. And episode 78 is a really interesting one. Christiane David had a very damaging relationship with money, and she taught us about how she switched the way she looked at money, and now she uses it as a much more effective tool. Michelle Kuzmic in episode 64 gave us actual permission to pivot your business as many times as necessary, and Marucha Bogard taught us about reinventing yourself at any age in episode 73. And my friends, there are so many others, so please look through the titles and find the ones that are really going to resonate with you and where you're at with the season. But all of us have to realize that we have self-agency. We have the ability, the responsibility, and the freedom to just take action. So as we wrap up this episode and another year, I just want to encourage you to put faith first this year. Make choices that support a healthy body so you can do all the things you want to do. Invest time to build your community, your friends, your family, your husband, your spouse, your kids, and support and employ your self-agency to take action, even messy and imperfect action, so you can pursue the desires that God's placed on your heart. And by shaping your plans with these guiding themes, your 2026 will have success that will last and will have a positive ripple effect into the years that come. Now, before I do a final wrap up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to you, the listener, all my friends who continue to stop by every week. Sunshine Café grew from about 19,000 views to over 500,000. I think we're a little over 600,000 views on YouTube. And that just tells me that encouragement is really needed in this crazy world. But I really want to say thank you for listening and for, sharing an episode every once in a while when you feel it's something helpful for someone you know. And thank you for all the kind words of encouragement. Your comments, your likes are so encouraging to me. So please keep those coming as well. I really do read every single one of them, and they make a big difference in my world. So thank you for that. Have a very happy New Year's celebration. Happy 2026, everybody. And I'll look forward to seeing you right back here next year at the Sunshine Café.